Hey. Hey, mamas, how are you? Welcome back to Above and Beyond Milestones. I'm your host, Danielle. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Welcome. Stay a while, guys. And before I get started, if you enjoy today's content, please like, subscribe, so that I know that you guys really need this content and I continue to make it for you. All right, so let's jump into today's topic. Today's topic is one that I felt with my whole heart, and that's basically just navigating that diagnosis. Um, Chances are, if you guys are here, you're watching this, it's because you're either waiting for or you just received your diagnosis, and I want you guys to know that before we start, it's okay. Everything that you're feeling is valid, and I'm pretty sure, um, going through today's episode, if I the things that I'm gonna say, you guys are probably gonna resonate with. So, um, that's it's pretty much a very very touchy area. So just know that wherever you are, just pause and say to yourself that you're not alone. Um, Me personally, I still remember when I got the diagnosis for my son, and I'm going to talk about two different types of, diagnosis notifications because there are two different ways of that you could react to that it could affect you, and you got in my case where ahead of time, you find out while you're still pregnant, and then you have the other end of that, which is the after excuse me, the afterbirth diagnosis, which is, they both have their challenges. They're both tough situations, and sometimes it's really hard to navigate that, especially if you don't have a support system, or you don't think you have a support system, because a lot of us will have the support system, but we're so scared to bring it up or to say something because we're scared of how other people are going to react, how are they going to feel, what are they going to think, but I mean, if it's one thing I learned, is people can surprise you, and it's hopefully in the good way. My experiences have been such. You know, so let's jump into my personal experience, which was the before birth. When I was still pregnant when we found out, and when I tell you, I went through every emotion possible. I I cried, and anybody that knows me personally knows I don't cry. Not a crier. But that day I cried real bad. Real bad. And um I cried, I was angry, I was mad at myself, asking my questions like, hey, what did you do? What was it your fault? Just every question, like, and then the guilt comes in, as far as they always tell you, oh, the older you get, the more likely you are to have a child with Down syndrome. That's why you shouldn't uh get pregnant or whatever. That's I'll get to why that's a bunch of nonsense a little later. But um it's like I said, you just start questioning everything. And I mean, you really shouldn't do that, because when I tell you, ooh, it beats on you. But then also too, what doesn't make that any easier with people with thinking that, oh, it was my fault, is the fact that as soon as you hit like 35, all of a sudden now they're labeling your pregnancy as geriatric. So that automatically gives you in your mind a negative connotation where there should be none. So excuse me, it's you kind of gotta step away from that a little bit. Just don't listen to the hype as far as that's concerned, because I can tell you with 1,000% certainty, I'm in support groups, and Facebook, other people that have similar experiences and their children are around the same age as my son, and they're people in that group in their early 20s. I want to say I saw one girl that was 19. The diagnosis does not have a age limit on it, and I wish people would really step away from that, because it can happen to anyone at any age. You never know. So, excuse me. Then you also have no. Let me finish with me, because like I said, I freaked out really really bad. I not only did I go through the range of emotions, I also I jumped on. Oh my God, I did the worst thing that you can possibly do, and I jumped on Google. Doctor Google is good sometimes, but you have to take that with a grain of salt and not go down every single rabbit hole like I did. And I tell you, I think I scared myself more doing the research than it, with the whole reality of everything, because I, in reality, it's nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. But in that moment, you really kind of feel helpless because you've gotten this diagnosis. You don't know why. You're asking all the questions. Why me? Why my baby? Why? Why? And you don't have the answers to that. The doctors don't have the answers to that. It's just a constant barrage of, oh my God, why? What did I do? What did I do? But you have to give yourself some grace, mamas. You have to. And just know that there are people that are going through it. You're not alone. There are other people that are going through this just as well, and reaching out to those support groups, and your support, your own support system, your family. Because some people don't feel comfortable talking to strangers about their feelings and everything. Because I promise you, when I first joined the groups I was in, I just sat there silently watching other people's posts and reading their experiences, and just like a fly on the wall, I was scared to make myself known. um Also, when you find out ahead of time, you also have that question, you have that period of where you're excuse me, where you're like, oh my God, like, are you serious? Like, is this like a real thing? And then, they offer you the further testing and stuff like that. And a lot of people with the further testing, you have some people that take advantage of it, and some people that don't, and they all have their own reasons for that. I feel like the people that don't feel like, why am I going to put myself through this? No matter what, I'm going to keep my baby, so what's the point? And then you also have the people that, like me, myself, I went through with the testing. Even though I knew 1,000% I was keeping my baby, I also just wanted to be sure. I wanted to be, make sure that I'm adequately preparing myself so that I'm mentally ready and able to care for him. And either way, it's okay. Either way, it's okay. I'm not going to tell you guys my experiences with that amnio, though. I don't want to scare you, freak you out, because I know some people that are watching this might be in that phase where they want to hey, am I going to get it? Am I gonna not? But everybody's experience is different, and just because mine was a little unpleasant doesn't mean that yours will be. But just know that either way, it's okay. Also, um, the doctors, nobody talks about this part. And I feel like it's very important to talk about this part. And this is like some of the feedback and the things that the professionals will say is not okay. Like, if I didn't say to you that, you know, well, how do they put the term? Um, that I want a medically necessary A word. I want to terminate. If I didn't say that to you, don't suggest it. Don't throw that up there, because you're making me feel like, number one, I should be scared to go through with this pregnancy, or number two, that my child's syndrome is their diagnosis is enough reason to for that my baby not to be here. Everyone's choice is their own. I do not knock the people that do choose to go that route, but that's not the route I chose. I mean, those are hard, very, very hard decisions. Excuse me, that do have to be made sometimes. But I felt like in my case, you know, Trisomy 21 is not a death sentence. It's not where his life was going to be so immensely impacted that I should have considered him not being here. No, not at all. Um, so I kind of, I kind of felt a little. I was a little upset because I want to say about 3, 4 different people mentioned that, and I'm just like, no. If I didn't bring that up, why are you bringing it up? I want my baby 1,000%. Just because I want to get the extra test done to be sure. I mean, that's just me. I'm extra like that. I want to know. But I just feel like that it's not okay, and no one talks about it, and we really should because the doctors need to know it's not okay. Um, like I said, that's just a really hard portion of finding out ahead of time. But it also prepared me mentally to be able to get my child the services and things that he needs. Um, so you also have the flip side of that, which is the people that find out at birth. Some people have no idea. Like I promise you, if I would end up taking that blood test, the NIPT test, I don't think I would have known until my baby got here. And that was because he had none of the markers on the ultrasound. Nothing. Like, once they find out, they look, but it's so mild that I think I would have ended up being a birth diagnosis if I hadn't taken the NIPT test. But they it's like I kind of I've seen people's testimonials about their birth diagnosis and the feelings and emotions, and like it's pretty much the same, but the problem is you're going through those feelings with a newborn. You have a fresh baby, newborn, and you're going through that, and it's like I couldn't imagine being on that end of it. I feel for them. I empathize because now you have your newborn, you're trying to love on your baby, and you have to wait for test results to come back to hey, is this is this really happening? So and it's okay. Like I said, all of these feelings are valid. It's okay to go through these feelings. It's okay to be sad. Me personally, I also I had to really mourn the loss of the child that I was not gonna get. I had this idea in my head, and I think we all do when you're pregnant of, oh my God, what my kid is gonna do, oh my kid's gonna do this, my kid's gonna do that. And then you get the diagnosis, this is like, whoa. Like, and then it switches more from, oh, my baby's gonna get to do this, they're gonna get to do that, to, are they gonna get to do this? Are they gonna get to, you know, enjoy this, that, and the third? So yeah, like I really had to mourn the child that I thought I was gonna get. But I also, developed that bond with him even before he was here, to where I was embracing the child that I was gonna get. And it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. Um, but like I said, it's okay. It's okay. All of these feelings are valid. The most important thing that you need to do is just know that people are here for you. You're not alone. I'm going to say that a million times. You're not alone. Not alone. Um, you know, whew. But I do want to talk about, like, like the next steps. Like, after you have found out that diagnosis and you've gone through the emotions, you know, feeling what you need to feel, and you took that breath. It's like, okay, what's next? I mean, I feel like the first step is depending on, well, this is not, this is either way. This is either with the birth diagnosis or the above the or the before birth diagnosis. Um, I feel like your first step, once you get your bearings together, is to start looking into early intervention around your area. And I can say firsthand that getting your child those services early definitely helps. My little guy was in PT at 2 months old, and I want to say she said that was her youngest patient. And to this day, with him being he's almost 19 months old, he's been excellent. Is he delayed? Yes, but is he progressing? Also, yes. So, looking into those things in your area, making sure you're prepared to, get your child the help that they're gonna need. That's like the biggest thing that you can do. And that is the biggest and the best thing that you can do as a mother. You know, just, like I said, looking into that, you have early intervention. Through my early intervention, I can't speak for everybody else's, but me personally, we have PT, it's physical therapy, got OT, occupational therapy. He also has DI, developmental intervention. And once he turns 2, because there's a speech therapist shortage, and I think it's like all of the United States. I know definitely in New Jersey, so they kind of delay the speech therapy until they're 2. So he'll be getting a speech therapist when he's 2. But when I tell you that the team that they put together, it's wonderful. Like the progress that my baby makes, I watch. Like I peek in during his sessions because they come here, and I peek in. I work from home, so I peek in, and just watching him interact, and and he's so happy when he does things, and it's just wonderful. But yeah, just getting that together also gives you that peace of mind, because you know that you're doing everything you can to ensure that your baby is going to be good. Your child is going to flourish. Um, can it get confusing a little bit? But there's also, like I said, I will not stress this enough. The Facebook groups, the support groups are a wonderful resource, because a lot of these groups, it's not just limited to one area. So you can go in, you can find people from your area that know about these resources, and that can help you through it, because once again, you're not alone. um yeah, I mean, also, the pediatrician, selecting the pediatrician. Now, us personally, we had a family pediatrician, and I talked to her beforehand and made sure that she was comfortable, handling a baby with a diagnosis, because not all pediatricians feel comfortable handling a child with a diagnosis, or specifically, whatever specific syndrome or diagnosis they have. So it's important to talk to them and make sure that they're, able to help you with in that aspect. Also, that they might have resources they can connect you to too. You never know, but talking to them beforehand is definitely great. Um, and just excuse me, make sure during all of this that you guys are taking breaks for yourself. And I actually have a whole nother episode that's going to be dedicated to that, because that is so important and key to maintaining your own mental health and your sanity. Because you can't be there for your child if your mind is off, and would I be somewhere, because you've lost it basically. So um that's definitely my biggest thing with all of this. While you're doing all of this, go through the emotions, go through the grief, and whatever it is you need to do. Do your research, set up your early intervention services, but take a break. Take a break for you. If not for you, do it for your kid, but mostly for you. Okay, you know. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my thoughts together. I want to make sure that I hit everything that I meant to talk to you guys about. But just know that, I mean, that diagnosis is not the end of the world. Just because you have something on a piece of paper that tells you, oh, your child has this, that does not define who that child is. That does not put a hard stop on, oh, well, they'll never be able to do this. They'll never be able to do that. Excuse me. No, there's something in control here, but it's not that piece of paper, and that higher power controls everything. And I don't know who you guys believe in. I know who I believe in. I don't know who you guys believe in, but I'm pretty sure you guys pray. You guys, um, that's where that final say is. Let's just leave it at that. Um, But just in closing, I just want to tell you guys, just thank you for sitting around. Thank you for talking with me. Um, Hopefully, we can get some more subscribers here. I can actually start having you guys, host, and this could be a conversation between, me and another mom, or, I think I have a couple of therapists, like specialist people that actually, live and work with that, sector of children that want to, co-host. So, I'm going to be setting that up soon too. But I want this, like I said, this to be a safe space. So, because this is what I didn't have when I was looking for um, my support, my little peace of mind. And I feel like it's very important for me to give back, because all of the suggestions and the love and support I've gotten from, other moms, it's wonderful. Like, sidebar, my son, he he's not walking yet, but he is, like, he's trying to stand and stuff. Now you set him on the floor, his legs stop working. I don't know. I can't explain that. But on, like, he'll stand up on the bed, and we all know how wobbly, a mattress is, but he'll stand himself up, and he'll just get so happy and excited and clapping and clapping. And I had a video of that, and I put it in the group, and the moms, oh, this is just, it was wonderful. Just, they understood, that excitement, that little level of excitement, because I'm not saying that moms with typical children aren't excited when their kids hit milestones. They are. But I think we're just a little bit more excited. It means it's a little bit more to us. And, like I said, I just thank them all for that. And they're all like, oh my God, I can't wait to see you post a video of him walking. I can't wait either. But I'm not going to push him. He's going to get there when he does. And I'm A-okay with that. In the meantime, I will enjoy picking up my baby and hugging on him and loving him. Because why? It's because he's awesome. But like I said, guys, just next week, what do we have for next week? Next week we're gonna actually talk about how to build that support system that I've been talking about. Even though I've told you guys several ways here, but I just want to go a little bit deeper into that. Just in the meanwhile, just hug your baby. Know that what you're doing is great. You're doing a good job. Hey, you're doing a good job. And just know that it's okay, and you're not alone. All right, mamas. Till next time.